Hi, Madeleine here from Sonic Bloom with a new episode of With a Little Help from Max for Life. Today we're going to look at 7 free Max for Life recorders and loopers worth knowing about. And as a bonus, I'm also including a looper that is not free, but fairly inexpensive for the workflow it offers, and I thought you might be interested in knowing about it. So the first one's called Recorder and is by meownoid. It always records the last 40 seconds into a buffer, and you can save it any time. You can put it on the main, or you can put it in a track and use it with routing. That's the way I've set it up here. I've got the first 3 tracks routed into track number 4, which is where I have the recorder. And you're going to have to make sure that you save the live set first before you try to save with it, because otherwise it will give you a little icon flashing here, because it records the files into the live sets samples folder and there into recorded. So let's have a try. So you can see it records into the buffer now. And I'm just going to press save. It will work anyway. We're just going to have something cut off. So I can go to a current project. You can see here under samples and recorded, we have a file. And let's drag that over here. Solo that. And you can see we've got a recording here. Unfortunately, live things is a very different tempo though. So this one's simple and fast. It's great for a resampling workflow or to record effect tails when live transport isn't running anymore. Next up, we've got File Recorder by roygbiv. Not sure how to pronounce that. So here you basically can start and stop it, or you also have the option to let live start and stop the recording with the transport. You can set the bit depth, and you can also set a folder by clicking on here and then setting to whatever you need. I've already set it to the project folder. And then we can just simply start recording right away. Let's maybe link it. And you can see it counts down how long it's recorded in milliseconds as well. Okay, so now we can check in the current project. And yes, here we've got a recording. Let's solo that. So as you can see, that definitely works. That can be great for recording live performances or, again, recording tails of effects. Next up, we've got Thresho by Inara and RossfromFriends. This one can record up to 4 audio sources and is triggered by a threshold. So it starts recording when the threshold has been reached that you can set, and it stops when it is below the threshold and has reached the decay time that you can set. So here you've got the decay time, here you have the threshold setting, you also have a gain setting. Maybe let's take that down a little bit. And then here you have the 4 inputs. So I can just set this to the first track, this to the second, and this to the third. And you're gonna have to make sure that they're also turned on here. You can decide if it should be a WAV file or an AIF file, and you can set the file path as well. And let's set the file path. I'm actually gonna set it to the loopers. Now we can just simply record. I've actually set those back to main. So, and since the threshold has been reached right away, we can actually see that I start recording right away. And here you've got a decay of 5 seconds, so it'll now stop after 5 seconds, and it has stopped. And here it has recorded a file as well. And now I can just drag that over here. This next one is a very interesting Max for Life audio effect as well, because it approaches recording and looping in a different way again. So it's actually meant for DJSL transitions, great for hardware live sets or anything where you really need something where you have to switch over between one track to the other. And so this could run in the meantime. It's called EZLOOPER and is by GloryTune. And here basically you select the length of the bars that should be looped. Then you can capture, you can also clear it again if you don't need it anymore. And then you have a live EQ, so for what's coming live into the track. And then when it switches over for the loop, also an EQ section. And basically, when you click capture, right now record 4 bars. And once the recording is done, the loop automatically takes over. So you can see it records on its own. Once 4 bars are over as well. So despite the global launch quantization being 1 bar. And so right now, I can just stop all the clips because we're now playing the loop. And so I've got a Q setting. And we have a section with different effects as well. So definitely great if you need something to tide you over in terms of transitions and live performances. The next Max for Life recorder works quite differently. It's called Retrospective Recording and is by Maboroshy. It works with the session view workflow, so it records temporary clips when the track, which can be MIDI or audio, is armed and live transport is running. It always enforces that the global launch quantization is 1 bar. And you can hit save on any of the 4 buttons depending on the clip length that you want. So here you have 4 possible clip lengths, so 1 bar, 2 bars, 4 bars, or 8 bars. You can decide if you want to create a temporary clip or not. So you can also turn it off in between and you can delete temporary clips. This is to basically have a little offset time for the saving, because otherwise things might not work, because there's a bit of a latency always with operations. And you can shift nodes as well if you want. So, by the way, with MIDI clip recording, it goes into overdub after the saving. So let's try this. You can see it's gone on. It's recording a temporary clip and it tells you what you can already save. So I'm going to save this. By the way, you couldn't hear anything because I just routed this in there as well and monitoring was off. The buttons are actually for MIDI CCs, so it's more useful for foot pedals or something like this, or a MIDI controller that has a MIDI CC that you can map it to, than just clicking it, because if you click it, you have to click it twice to actually do something. So that's just something to be aware of. And otherwise, it can be pretty great as a simple device for live performances as well, especially because it allows you fixed length recording. And we can just solo this quickly and have a listen. By the way, it can be necessary to basically try and see what the right offset setting should be for your setup. Now we're coming to the only paid Max for Life device, and that is a looper. It's called One Button lllLooper, and it's by Ableton Drummer. I'm actually including it here because I think it's a really cool device. It's not very expensive. It's just over 20 euros, it's a little over 23 US dollars. So it actually uses the session workflow with scenes and clips, but it makes recording clips much easier, so it can replace the looper in live as well, because you can use it to record layers but within individual tracks. The only thing it doesn't have is tap tempo. So it works the same way as well, that it has a multi-purpose button here that you can map. You have play, you have undo, clear, and stop. You can also set up the accepted note pitches. I don't like using that because it doesn't actually matter if you use audio tracks or MIDI tracks that you can record into, and one looper instance can actually control up to 10 tracks. You can see this here. So right now I want to control 3, so I would add 3, and let's record into scene 2 because I already have clips in scene 1. And then we're going to click on refresh so that the looper has got this information. Then here we can click to open the pop-up window. You can zoom in and out. You can also reset the window position. You can decide if the circles, which show basically loops happening, and you can save the window position as well. And since it can control up to 10 tracks, it doesn't actually matter if those tracks are audio or MIDI tracks. And if you use MIDI tracks as well, then the setup with MIDI nodes can cause issues. So I prefer just having normal mapping, but that's just me. Then here we also have the option to arm all the controlled tracks or unarm all of them, and we can decide if the track that is going to be recorded into is automatically armed and unarmed again as well by the looper. And we can also set the trigger button to momentary or toggle behavior, which can make a difference for what control you map it to on your controller. So I've key mapped it here to a key, and the way it works is basically you're going to have a group track, and the first track has to be a MIDI track. You see that MIDI from and MIDI to can be just set to no input or no output respectively, because it only needs to house the device. And then you can have up to 10 tracks within that group after the looper, and then you're going to have to make these settings accordingly. And that's it. And if you need more than 10 tracks, like for example, if you wanted to have one looper group to record vocal layers, then 10 tracks can quite often be not that much. So then you could have another looper group to record other things. So basically, as long as your computer resources allow, you can have as many looper instances as you want. So enough of that. Let's try that out. So I've got the MIDI track, then I've got one audio track where the audio from comes from the first track with a MIDI clip, and the same setup for the second MIDI track, so it records as audio. But this last track here contains drift, so it's a MIDI track, and I'm gonna record a simple bass line on the fly. So technically you don't have to have that open. As you can see, we have this window open, but let's just keep it on this track and you can watch what happens. So when I hit it again, it stops the recording. Now you can also see the 2 circles. Yeah, and it's as simple as that. So it's a really great Max for Life device for a simple live looping workflow, especially on stage, but if you like recording real instruments, that could be helpful as well. So this one's quite different. It's a looper, but it's more for kind of creating textures. It's called Loop by Pircus with 4L. It lets you record or also drag in a sample of a specific length that you can set here for the buffer size setting. Here you can drag it in. And then basically the recording can be split into 3 different loops with different settings. So you have different speeds for each loop, loop length, and then also if the speed should be randomized, so this setting. So I have actually just a vocal clip running right now, and I've routed the audio from that track into our track 4. And in this case, you either have to have monitoring set to auto when you want to have the track armed, or you can use monitoring in as well. And yeah, now I'm just going to play it back and record it. Okay, so now we can just play around with the speed settings. We can go backwards. Here maybe we can randomize the speed here as well. And let's maybe set it to 25% and this one to 50. And you basically have to turn it off to make it stop. A very fun way to create interesting textures. And last but not least, we have bve.varlooper by ithkaa. This is also a looper, also more for glitchy effects, textures. Could be used similar to beat repeat maybe, and it can be activated either manually, automatically, or upon attack detection, so a threshold. I'm going to set it to auto, and you can just click on here to record. You can set speed, probability, number of voices, length of period. You have different pitch settings and width, and then also gain. So let's start trying this. You can hear that you can even kind of create like delay effects, pitch behavior. That kind of runs out after a while, and I can also turn it off. Can be pretty great for glitchy effects as well. I hope you found at least one recorder or looper that you find really inspiring. And yeah, if you did, give me a like. If you haven't yet, subscribe maybe. And I'll see you next time. Until then, bye.